What's up, runners? I am Coach Holly.
And I'm Coach Morgan.
And we have got a partner workout for you today. This is gonna be less than 30 minutes, all body weight, perfect for travel. Grab a buddy and let's get into it. So this workout is going to be done chipper style. If you're not familiar with that, I am going to give you a big set of reps for one movement. You and your partner are going to complete those together, and then you're going to move on to the next movement. We're going to work this way all the way through 4 total movements. Again, there's no equipment required here. This is going to be total body weight exercises. I will explain how you'll manage your rest and what you and your partner will do for each one. All right, so movement number 1 today is going to be a split squat. Now, if you've never done this before, take it nice and slow. We're gonna walk you through it. Coach Morgan here is gonna be the demo today, and we're gonna get you set up so that you have a couple different versions to choose from. So what I'm gonna have Morgan do is start by standing on just the left leg. She's gonna start to find her balance here, pull that core in nice and tight, and you're gonna keep those hips forward just as if you had 2 feet on the ground. Now, what she's gonna do is bring her back leg up to a short surface. We have something about a foot off the ground here, but feel free to play with that height. And now what I want her to do is actually jump that front foot out a little further so she has a lot of space to work with. As far as distance between feet, you want to give yourself a little bit of space there so you're not on a tightrope right in front of the other. So she's got some space there, she's feeling secure, and she's going to stand on that left leg. With the right leg, she is going to be creating tension back there. We'll get into that more in a second. She's going to start by sending her hips back and bending that left leg. She's going to find a lot of weight in that front heel, dropping there, core's on tight. We're looking for a vertical shin on that front leg, so she's doing that by getting the hips back. Go ahead and stand it up. With this back leg, she's creating that tension like I had mentioned before by almost sending her toe back as if she's trying to shove the mat we have here back behind her. What that does is create stability through the hips, so it's not an isolated left glute exercise. She's actually using everything to get down there on the squat. Let's see a couple reps here. So she goes down, good, pressing through here. She can even cue herself by putting her hand back here, especially on that right glute, to make sure she's activated out there, because if you can't tell, sometimes just a simple cue with your hand will work. So she goes down just one more time. Perfect. And you can also bring those toes up on that standing leg to really feel that your weight is in the heel. She can come down from there. The second option for this is going to be doing it on the ground, so no raised surface in the back. You can create the exact same position just standing on the ground. So let's see a couple like that. She's gonna take a big step out, again, giving herself the width she has here for the balance, keeping those hips forward until she goes back to drop down. Exactly, good. And then pushing and squeezing the glutes extra at the top. So these are your 2 options. Together, you are accumulating 100 per leg. So that's gonna be 50 on each leg for each of you. You split these reps up how you want. And if this is too much volume for you, this is sounding like way too much, only work for up to 5 minutes. And if you're not to 100, that's totally fine. You're gonna move on to the next movement. Okay, so movement number 2, we are doing a partner wheelbarrow, which you might have done when you were little, and we're gonna turn it into a little shoulder tap plank core stability exercise today. So we've got Morgan here, she's gonna show you what to do. We're gonna show you how to safely get in and out of this and how to control everything when you're the person being the wheelbarrow. So here we go. So Morgan's gonna start just on all 4s here. Knees down, hands are just right under those shoulders, and from the beginning, she is just gonna set up a nice strong core position, belly button in tight, and we want a nice flat spine. So if I had something like a pole on here, it would lay nice and straight. She won't be dropped and arched, and she won't be rounded. So we're gonna start like that. As the carrier, I'm gonna also make sure my core is on tight because I'm now gonna be responsible for part of her body weight. So I wanna make sure that I'm also doing that correctly. So I'm just gonna find a little squat to come down here. I'm gonna grab her first ankle, put it to the outside of my leg. She's gonna straighten this leg and now give me a bunch of weight into this hand as she raises the other one, and then I grab that here. So I'm just gonna find this position. Legs are on either side of my hips. I am gonna have Morgan squeeze my hips so she keeps those legs nice and tight, and she's gonna keep the hips stable that way as well. Now what she's gonna do is just alternate hands, taking one hand off the ground, just alternating like that. Good. I'm gonna give her a little break here. I just put one foot down, drop the knee, and the other knee down. What Morgan is thinking about here is how not to create an unstable position. So as soon as I start to see her hips twist or her back drops or she just starts to lose her shoulder position, we come down, we switch, we rotate. We wanna make sure that we're working on that nice tight core position, and she's always pressing and creating stability through those legs. And as the person holding, I'm also doing the same. You are accumulating 100 of these together. Like I said, this is a new movement for some of you, so take small sets here, quality over quantity. Again, if it takes you longer than 5 minutes to do that 100, just go until the 5-minute mark and you move on to the next movement. All right, so movement number 3 is going to be what's called a V-up. I'm gonna walk you through all versions of this so that there's something you can definitely accomplish well. All you're gonna do to start here is just find your weight seated on your tailbone. So I'm just gonna pick my knees up here, find this tuck position, drop my shoulders, and I'm gonna just take my arms off here so I'm balanced on my tailbone. From here, I'm gonna leave my arms down and lower and extend my legs just until my low back hits the mat, and I'm gonna reset up to find that position. One more like that. Dropping down, just making contact with that low back, keeping my chest here, and coming back. Make this a little harder. I'm gonna now sweep my arms back as I do that. Still keeping the shoulder blades off the mat, and I come up. One more like that. And up. If that's already feeling challenging, that's a perfectly fine version for this. To make it a little bit harder, the full V-up position, you're actually going to go from full extension up to the top with straight legs and arms the whole time. So what that looks like, I'll still start the same way. Now I'm gonna sweep and find that full extended position, but instead of tucking, I'm gonna reach up and touch my toes as much as I can, control back down, up to the top. Now, if your hip flexors get tight on something like this, again, that tuck position is gonna be your friend. The low back is the only thing touching when you get to the bottom. So what we don't want to happen is just splay those ribs out and just start flopping around just to make contact at the top and bottom. Also, one more option you can do here is starting all the way down on the ground and just bring shoulders off. Find a little tuck here. This is a little bit easier than being balanced on that tailbone. Finding one of those versions, you are completing 100 V-ups between the two of you. So that fourth and final movement you guys are gonna tackle together is going to be a broad jump. Now, what we're gonna do is use elements from everything today. You're gonna find that nice tight core. You're gonna use those legs to find full explosion for that dynamic broad jump. So Morgan is here to show you again. She's gonna find about a hips width stance apart with her feet. Toes are forward, pointed straight ahead as much as she can. Her hips are forward to start. And now what she's gonna do is find a little half squat to get this thing started. So her hips come back. She's making sure those knees don't go over the toes because we never want that to happen. And from that position, she's actually gonna swing her arms back behind her. These are gonna be used to propel her forward. So she takes that little plie squat, she comes back with her arms, and then she explodes forward to find that same landing position. She stands at the top. She's gonna turn around here, find that little half squat there, arms go back, and here. The main thing you wanna focus on this broad jump is exploding and extending the hips mid-jump. So what she doesn't wanna do is stay closed through the hips as she jumps. The point of this is to create that propulsion by opening and then closing the hips. So she'll show you again. She goes back with that squat and back. And you see mid-jump, she's gonna straighten out and then fold, snap those feet back in. We're using the mat here to give a little distance, something to aim for. You can decide what feels like a reasonable distance to jump. Between the two of you, 100 broad jumps you're gonna be accumulating. Again, find a set that's reasonable to break this up into chunks. All right, so we've showed you the 4 movements you're tackling today. Here's the catch. Whenever you are not the person working on the reps, you are resting in some version of a plank. And now Morgan is gonna give you all kinds of options you can do. This plank is gonna be up to you. You can rotate through different versions throughout the workout. Just make sure you're holding those good positions, which we'll get to. So what that will be like is from the split squats all the way through the broad jumps, you are going to be resting in your plank with the exception of the wheelbarrow. So if I am gonna do sets of 10 on the split squats, if that's what we've decided might be a good way to break up the reps, I'm gonna be working on my split squats. Morgan will be holding some version of a plank. So here's a couple options you can do. First one is of course gonna be that straight arm, normal plank. Belly button is in tight to the spine. She's squeezing those glutes together, not letting her back drop. Wider base is gonna be a little bit easier. Legs together is gonna be a little bit more challenging and definitely a straighter position to aim for. She can come down to the elbows. She can do the same thing down here. I would say sometimes that can be a little bit more challenging. Try to keep those hands separated actually when you're in the elbow plank there. Yep. She can also go to a side plank if she wants on that elbow, working on that shoulder stability and also through those obliques. So she's pulled up here through the side, nice straight legs. Again, hips and butt pushed forward. She can also extend that arm up to the side. Make sure if you're doing any of the side planks, you're also equal on both sides here. She can also go up to that straight arm if she wants for a little shoulder stability. Last option here is gonna be that reverse plank. Nice extension through the spine. She's gonna keep those hips up, legs as straight as possible, chin is in line with the spine, just she's not dropping the head back or curling it too far forward. That is the last option here. Get creative with these planks, guys. Make sure you're holding good form. And if either of you needs to rest at any point, you rest together. So you've got each of those movements, work through like that chipper style. Good luck. Thanks for going through that workout with us. If you are looking for more ways to sweat with someone or without, you should check out our mobile app. Down in the description, you can click that link and check out all of the workouts and tutorial videos. Everything around running, strength, mobility, and injury prevention that we have to offer will be right there in the app.
And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Drop any comments down below. We would love to hear from you guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel so you get these to your inbox each and every week.
Thanks again for watching. We will catch you guys in the next video.